Alright, so this is slightly out of date. Remember back in like February when I said I was supposed to do this in, I think I said June. So I guess I'm 2 months off, but like real life stuff gets in the way. So I'm a bit backlogged on my collection here. But I think I'm going to break it up into a few parts. Otherwise, I'll be here for like an hour. So I'll just sort of like jump right in. There's no, well, I would say there's no particular order, but it is sort of in the order of when I got them. So starting off here with Sonic and the Black Knight. I know very little about this game. I know it's part of like the storybook. Like I think they tried to push a storybook series for Sonic, except it only lasted for the Secret Rings and then this one, as far as I'm aware. And I guess they just didn't do too well, and they gave up on that idea. But I have seen some, I guess it's kind of similar to that. I've seen a little bit of footage of this because I remember my friend actually owned this, and I went over to his house one time, and he was fighting. I guess he was fighting the Black Knight. I remember he was like, the Black Knight was on a horse, and like Sonic was like running behind him. You had to dodge from like side to side. I don't know if that was the final boss or not. I would assume not, because I don't think it was like Super Sonic, and usually you go Super Sonic for these things. But I think I'm only slightly behind on the Sonic series. I think I do still have to do. I have to finish up the Secret Rings because I got like halfway through that as a kid and then gave up. So I've got to go back and finish that up. And I've got to also get through Unleashed at some point. I'm not sure if that came out before or after this. Okay, well, I could just be blind, but I'm not seeing any date on this. What I am seeing, though, is that it has online play for some reason. I guess there was like... Oh, it does say battle against 3 friends. That's weird. I mean, I guess I've never heard anyone talk about the online. I'm not sure how many people would have actually played it. Nintendo Wi-Fi USB... Okay. I think that we had an Ethernet port, right? Kind of weird that the... I'm pretty sure I remember the Wii having an Ethernet port. And it's weird that it had... Yeah, it does say Nintendo Wi-Fi. Kind of weird that it had an Ethernet port, and the Wii U and the Switch don't. You have to buy a separate connector for that. But anyway, that's it won't be too much longer till I go through that. I just got to get through Secret Rings, and then I think this one. So there are a fair few Switch games in here. If I remember right, I think EB had like a buy 3 or buy 2 get 1 free deal or something. I think that's where I picked half of them up, and the other ones were from an Amazon sale or something. But Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think it's actually Arceus. This one I'm excited for, but I do have a few more Pokemon games to get to before I jump into it. Just because they like changed the formula up, and I know a lot of people did like this one. Oh, there is a seat in there. I think it matters too much, but I think it does have like my location there. I may have to edit around that, but I do like how the Switch games have this little inlet. It's not an inlet, but it has the reverse cover, so it has this nice art on the back. I guess it is. Yeah, it is just Sinnoh, right? I'm pretty sure that's what Sinnoh looked like, and it makes sense because they're using the Sinnoh characters. It is such a shame that the Switch has so many good games on it, but it's like limited by its outdated hardware. But yeah, I am looking forward to this one. I think I just got to get through, I want to say Sword and Shield. I think that came out first, and then this one, if I remember right. This one is definitely going on like the turbo backlog because this is the sequel to the original Fire Emblem Warriors, and I also haven't even. I don't think I actually own 3 houses. Actually, yeah, I think this is I don't know if this is a sequel or like what if of 3 houses, but I assume that 3 houses is like required, like knowledge. Yeah, it's got the map there too. But yeah, so I still got to get through. I'm not too far behind on the Fire Emblem series compared to some of the other ones. I think all I have to do is because I just finished the GameCube game, which was pretty good. So I've got to get through the Wii. I think it's Radiant Dawn is the Wii one, and then I've played all the 3DS ones. So I think after Radiant Dawn, I can jump straight into 3 houses once I pick that up, and then I guess I just got to get through the first Warriors. Although I mean I know they're not related, but I'll prefer to play the first one before this one. This one I just sort of like picked up on a whim. I know something about it. I know it's like a GTA clone, but you know I haven't really seen much on it. But I know some people like it, and I am a fan of pretty much most GTA clones. So I figured I'd at least give it a go, especially because it's just like a cheap PS2 game anyway. Oh, does it actually have? Oh, it looks like it does have a map of the. I just saw that on the front cover. It said it includes a map of the. Yeah, very much like GTA. I know the old GTA games used to have. Actually, I think I say old, but I mean up to. I know GTA 4 had a map. I don't know if five might have. At least on the on its initial release, probably not so much on the PS4 releases and later, because I don't think they do booklets anymore on PS4 games. I think that's the wrong way around. I guess there's like 2 different sections. Oh, actually, that might be the. Is that like the overall? I don't know, because this one's more detailed. This one has like. I assume car washes are for like notoriety, maybe. Because this one actually has like all the icons there. The other one doesn't. I don't know if I'd like need, because I think the older GTA games like I want to say 3 Vice City. At least I don't remember if San Andreas had it, but I think you actually were intended to use the map that came with the game, because it would lay out where all the like paint and sprays and stuff were. Whereas I think, at least in 3, I'm pretty sure those only showed up once you got close to them. Like they would only show up on the minimap once you got close. They wouldn't show up on the big map, so you had to either memorize where they were, or you were supposed to like look in the like case for the big map. That's pretty cool. I like when games used to actually include stuff like that in that. Yeah, I'll try that at some point. Hopefully it's pretty good. Metroid Dread is next. I don't think I'm too far behind on Metroid. I do still have to do the Prime trilogy though, I think. And then I think the franchise pretty much died after the Prime trilogy, other than Other M. So that's sort of why I'm caught up. But I was going to get the Prime trilogy on Wii. I was sort of like looking out for that. But then they remastered the first game. And so now it's sort of a weird buy to get the to have the first game on Switch, and then also buy the trilogy on the Wii. So I'm waiting to see what they do with 2 and 3. I'm hoping they remaster the second Prime and third Prime, because I heard the first one was really well received. So hopefully they can like do the same thing with 2 and 3 and keep the same sort of quality. But as far as 2D Metroid games go, I'm pretty sure I played all of them up until I think the only one I haven't played was the 3DS Samus Returns. But I played the AM2R fan game, and I think that's pretty much based on the same. They're both based on Metroid 2. So I think that they're much the same. I don't think I really have to play. Is it Samus? Yeah, it is Samus Returns, right, on 3DS? I don't know. I'll look at it, but I'm pretty sure it's much the same as AM2R. And they did a really good job on that. Next up we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This one's actually still sealed. I think I'll leave these sealed until I actually get around to playing them. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. My dog's like snoring away, so hopefully that doesn't get picked up at all. As far as Kirby goes, I think I'm a few games behind on Kirby. I've been trying to keep up with it, but I think it was earlier this year or late last year or something, I got through that Game Boy Advance game, the Metroidvania one. What was that called? I think it was Amazing Mirror, and I think that's actually, it's either coming to Switch, like the Switch Online, or it's already come to Switch. But I've also played the Squeak Squad and Superstar Ultra. Squeak Squad was actually my first Kirby game. It was actually like I think it was the first or only game really that they actually set up like a kiosk in store where they had like a DS chained to like a little display thing, and Kirby was actually the game on the DS, and that's the reason I picked it up, is because Squeak Squad was actually fun to play. It was really easy, but it was kind of fun to get 100% in at least. But I still have to get through. I think it's Return to Dreamland is the Wii one, but they've now remastered that onto Switch. So I've got to pick that up at some point. And then there's like Rainbow Curse on Wii U. There's the Epic Yarn remake on 3DS. There's Planet Robobot, Triple Star Deluxe or something. And I think Star Allies. So I've got at least 5 off the top of my head that I've also got to get through. But I heard this one was pretty good as well. The very first 3D entry. I guess they're not counting the... I guess it means like in terms of movement, right? Because all the other ones were like 2.5D. I guess they're also just not counting Air Ride, because that was definitely 3D. Okay, don't judge me for this one, but this one I picked up the same time as Scarface, because it was just like, I feel like it was somewhere between $5 to $10, and I just sort of picked it up because it was there. I don't think I've actually seen too much Family Guy. That was something I watched as a teenager. I think I've maybe seen one full season, and then like bits and pieces. I think this is just one of those sort of shovelware games that they came out with. The one I am looking for is the Futurama PS2 game, because I remember actually playing that and not beating it. So I want to go back and grab that, and I think it was alright. Because I have Simpsons Hit and Run, and I finished that, and I know that was really well received. I don't think this is on the same level as like Hit and Run, and I think the Futurama game was at least considered good, but not like great. I assume this is like middling at best, but I figured I'd just grab it because it was there and cheap. So I guess we'll see how that goes eventually. Next we got Donkey Kong. I feel like it was 2 years ago. I played through the 3DS one. I think it was Donkey Kong Country Returns. That was actually really difficult. I guess all the country games are pretty difficult though, because I played the original SNES ones. But there was certain levels. I think there was like one in particular that like really annoyed me in the 3DS one. It was the pretty late in the game. It was a volcano level, and you had to use this jetpack thing, and it's sort of like Flappy Bird, kind of. You have to like hold a button to raise and let go of it to fall. That thing took me like 30 tries at least to get through. So I'm hoping there's no of those jetpack levels in this one. Oh, I guess Funky Kong is like the... Oh. That's kind of weird. I thought Funky Kong was like an actual, just like new character to play as. I mean, I guess he is, but I thought it was like... Maybe he had his own levels or something, but it looks like he's just an easy mode thing. It looks like he can just fly, swim fast, and just goes over spikes. I guess maybe the idea is that you can sell this to like a 7-year-old and they can play as Funky and actually get through the game. Whereas most kids would probably struggle with some of the harder levels. I guess that's the idea. And you can like... Well, you know, if you've played co-op, someone who's not good at the game could play as Funky, probably. Yeah, I figured that was like one of the major selling points for the... Actually, this was a Wii U game, wasn't it? Because like all the Wii U games got ported to the Switch. So I guess that was the main idea. They just added Funky for the hell of it. Last Switch game here is Yoshi's Crafted World. I think there's actually... Again, I think I'm pretty far behind on Yoshi because... What was the last one I even played? I guess it would have been Yoshi's Story on Nintendo 64. I feel like that was the last one. So I think I've still got... There's like a Yoshi's Island on the DS. I think there's a new Yoshi's Island on the 3DS. And then I think there's Woolly World on Wii U. I think that's right. There might be a fourth one somewhere. Or I'm combining the DS and the 3DS one or something. No, I'm pretty sure there's a DS and a 3DS one. So I'm at least 3 games behind. So this one's definitely going on the backlog a little bit. But I guess they were getting like... They were getting... Or at least experimenting on like the art style for Yoshi games. Because there was Woolly World. And this one definitely looks like it takes a different... Although I guess this is kind of similar to the Nintendo 64 one, right? That was kind of like storybook, sort of. And it looks like that's what they're doing here again. Although it is definitely crafted, so... Oh, they've got another... Was this a Wii U game? I don't remember. I feel like it wasn't, no, because the Wii U game was Woolly World. So I guess they've added another... I don't know, is that a thing now with Switch games? They just make a baby mode? I know the Mario games have like the... I think it pretty much started on Super Mario 3D World, right? Or 3D Land, whichever one it was. Where if you died so many times, you got the golden Tanuki suit. And you could just like fly through the level invincible. I feel like that's where it started. But it looks like it's getting more common on Switch games between this and Donkey Kong. I wonder where the... oh, actually, never mind, that's kind of dumb. I was going to say, I wonder where the Winged Yoshi came from, but he definitely came from Super Mario World on the SNES. Because I was thinking of Super Smash Bros. Brawl with the wings. Because that was his ultimate move, or whatever they called it back then. And last one here, we've got Drakengard 3. Drakengard? maybe you're supposed to pronounce that. This one's kind of unique because for whatever reason, Sony decided like late into the PS3 era that they really wanted to make the branding blue, so they just changed it to blue. So this looks really out of place alongside literally every other PS3 game, because all the other PS3 titles have the black spine. So this looks really weird in the middle of it. I also don't think this got a PAL physical release. Hold on, I'm gonna check that one. Okay, no, never mind, I was wrong on that. It did get a PAL release, but it was only the collector's edition. And after that, it didn't get like a standard edition, which is weird because I remember, because it's US release, it means that, I don't know if they still do this, but at least on the PS3 side, DLC was tied to region, which means that, and there's like 5 story DLCs to this. I think it's supposed to be prequels. I don't know if you're supposed to play it before or after the game though. But it means I had to get like, I had to specifically make a United States PlayStation account, and then also buy United States PlayStation gift cards, and then add them to the account and buy the DLC that way, which is kind of annoying, but I guess it's sort of like the only way to do this. And this one's just sort of staying sealed because I did already buy this digitally years and years ago, and that's what I remember doing, but it wasn't until like recently that I decided I wanted to make an actual physical collection. Luckily I don't have too many. Actually, this might have been the last one that I bought digitally but didn't own physically. I may have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Like the only other digital game I can think of would be, I think, Tokyo Jungle, and I should probably like look these things up before I say them, but I'm pretty sure that only had like one physical release. I feel like it was Japan only, and it was like bundled with something else, so I'm not going to bother with that one. Yeah, anyway, back to the blue label thing. There were Sony did this again. It was America only, because I remember seeing Sony did this with like 12 games maybe, and I know one of them was Amazing Spider-Man 2. I guess they did this because like the PS4 was blue. I guess they wanted to change the blue for some reason. But Amazing Spider-Man 2, I have actually seen outside of America, and it actually has the black label. But if you get the American version, it has the blue label. And I think there's about 12 games that they did this for, and then the people told them they were dumb for doing it because it stands out so much against all the other games in a collection, and so they stopped doing it after that. I don't even know how many PS3 games there would have been after that though, so, but anyway, that about wraps it up for this one. I think it's a bit shorter than last time just because I had a lot of Switch games that I didn't really have much to say on, because I obviously haven't obviously a bit behind in their respective series. So off the top of my head, I think I've got more coming in soon. I think I'm going to split these into like 10 each, so they're sort of condensed a little bit. So I think I have enough. I have at least 2 more the month's worth. So I've got them for September, October. I might have one for November. I guess it just depends how it goes. But yeah, I think I'm going to do, like, I guess once I get every set of 10, I'll make a new video of this and then try and keep up to date on it, because these ones I got a pretty decent while ago. But at some point, I think I'll do like a full-on like a video showing the whole collection, because I am getting pretty close to filling up my current cabinet. Off the top of my head, I think I can fit like maybe another 60. So maybe once I get close to filling that up, I'll do like a separate video on that, and then I'll look at getting a new one. I'm not sure how many more of these I actually have like in total to do, because I am actually getting pretty close to. I think I'm only a handful of games away from wrapping up my PS2 and PS3 collection. Maybe even my PS4 collection too. But I guess we'll see, because obviously Switch is still. I still have a decent amount of Switch games to grab. And I don't think I'll be getting like PS5 games or onwards, because a lot of those are just becoming like digital downloads anyway, so it sort of defeats the point of even having a physical version. Anyway, that wraps up this month's what is it, August? Yeah, we'll just call this the August collection, even though it's months backdated. So thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you guys sometime next month.